You're not behind because you're slow. You're behind because you're running in the wrong direction. And this hurts because nobody told you. Nobody had the honesty to sit down with you and speak the truth that burns inside. You can work 60 hours a week. You can be the most disciplined person on the team. You can wake up when everyone else is still sleeping and go to bed when everyone else has already rested and still end up exactly where you are. Not for lack of effort, but for lack of direction. That feeling that tightens your chest when you see someone who started with you already 3 steps ahead isn't envy. It's recognition. It's your body warning you that you're living below what you could be. It's the internal alarm saying that something doesn't add up, that the effort you're putting in isn't generating the results it should generate. And the worst part is, you don't know what's wrong, because you do everything they told you to do. You're responsible, you deliver, you show up, but you remain invisible, you remain stagnant. You keep feeling that while you run, others fly. But here's what nobody talks about. This feeling isn't the problem. This feeling is the symptom of something much bigger. It's the symptom of mental programming that's running in your subconscious without you realizing it. Programming that determines how much you think you deserve, how much you think you can earn, and how far you allow yourself to go. This video is part of a series where I break down the invisible patterns that keep hardworking men trapped in middle income. It's not motivation, it's not self-help, it's financial identity reprogramming. And if you stay with me until the end, the way you see money, effort, and direction might change. Let me tell you what your day looks like, and you tell me if I'm wrong. You wake up before sunrise. Maybe the alarm doesn't even need to go off anymore, because your body is already conditioned. You look at the ceiling in those first seconds of consciousness, and before you even get up, you already feel the weight. Not a physical weight, an emotional weight. That feeling that today is going to be the same as yesterday. Same routine, same tasks, same result at the end of the month. You get up, you shower. Quick coffee or straight to work, doesn't matter. And then the rush begins. Piled up emails. Meetings that could have been an email. Urgent demands from people who don't plan. Problems that aren't yours but become yours. Fires to put out all day long. And you put them out. Because you're good at what you do. You're reliable. You deliver. Your boss knows they can count on you. Your colleagues know you get things done. Everyone knows you don't fail. And you're proud of that, right? You should be. Because being reliable is important. Being responsible is important. But deep down, way deep down, you know this isn't taking you anywhere. Because when the day ends, when you finally sit down to breathe, when the house gets quiet and you look at your bank statement or think about next month's bills, that empty feeling hits. That tightness you can't name. You worked. You pushed yourself. You did everything right. And still it feels like you're running on a treadmill, spending energy, sweating, but not going anywhere. And then you open Instagram. You see that guy who studied with you buying a luxury car. You see an acquaintance who seemed more lost than you opening his own company. You see people you swore had less capacity, less intelligence, less focus, now living better, traveling more, living with less financial pressure. And the first thing that comes to mind isn't envy. It's genuine confusion, because you work as hard as they do, maybe even harder. You wake up earlier. You're more disciplined. You're more responsible. So why are you here and they're there? And then comes the guilt. Because you know you shouldn't complain. You have a job. You have a roof over your head. You have food on the table. There are people in much worse situations. There are unemployed people. There are people in real need. So you swallow it. You push that feeling down. You pretend everything's fine. You tell yourself that gratitude means accepting what you have. But at night, when you lie down and your mind won't shut off, it comes back. That quiet voice that says, time is passing and you're not moving forward. You're aging without evolving. 5 years from now, you'll be in the same place, with the same worries, the same bank account, the same feeling of running behind. And what really kills you isn't being in middle income. What kills you is knowing, deep down, that you could be somewhere else, that you have the capacity for more, that you have the intelligence for more, that you have the effort for more. But something holds you back. Something invisible keeps you in this cycle, and you don't know what it is. You don't know how to break it. You don't know how to get out. So you start believing the problem is you, that maybe you're not good enough, that maybe you weren't born with that something extra that makes people rise, that maybe you're destined to stay average. And when you believe that, when you internalize that, you stop looking for a way out. You settle. You accept. Comment if you've been through this, or if you're still living exactly this cycle. Now comes the part that truly hurts. The part most people don't want to hear because it's more comfortable to believe in external excuses. The problem isn't you. The problem is the operating system running in your head without you realizing it. It's the old programming that nobody taught you to question. It's the mental map you're following without ever asking, does this map lead where I want to go? Let me be direct. Effort without direction is just motion. It's you running in place. It's you sweating, getting tired, wearing yourself out, but never leaving the same starting line. And this is where most people fail. Because we were raised to believe that effort is enough, that if you work hard, if you're honest, if you follow the rules, the results come automatically. But that's a lie. Or at least it's a half-truth badly told. Because effort matters. Discipline matters. Responsibility matters. But if you apply all of this in the wrong direction, you'll just get to the wrong place faster. And this is the invisible mistake that keeps good, hardworking, intelligent men trapped in the same income bracket their entire lives. You think the problem is productivity, so you buy time management courses, you download apps, you make colorful to-do lists, you optimize every minute of the day, and at the end of the month, you're still in the same place. Because productivity without clarity of purpose is just efficiency in error. It's you doing the wrong thing faster and faster. You think the problem is focus, so you cut out social media. You wake up at 5 in the morning, you work late, you eliminate everything that seems like a distraction. And still, nothing changes, because focus without financial direction is just blind obsession. It's you staring at a wall thinking you're seeing the horizon. James Clear talks about this in Atomic Habits when he explains that systems are more important than goals. But it goes beyond that. Before any system, you need to have clarity about who you believe you are, because you'll never consistently outperform what your identity allows. Think about it. If deep down you still see yourself as someone who doesn't deserve to earn more, as someone who should be grateful for crumbs, as someone who needs to settle for little, it doesn't matter how many strategies you learn. It doesn't matter how many books you read. It doesn't matter how many videos you watch. Your identity will sabotage everything. And the difference between you and the guy who's 3 steps ahead isn't talent. It's not luck. It's not IQ. The difference is that he, at some point, stopped to ask a question you've never consciously asked. What am I really building with all this effort? Because you're busy. You're in constant motion. You're producing. But being busy isn't progress. Motion isn't growth. And production without direction doesn't take you anywhere worth going. The brutal truth is this. You want results from someone who thinks big, but your identity is still that of someone who thinks small. You want the life of someone who makes powerful decisions, but your daily decisions are still survival decisions, not expansion decisions. So you work, you push yourself, you're disciplined, but you stay exactly where you are. Because you're trying to enter a new game using old rules. You're trying to build a high-value life with a scarcity mentality. And until you reprogram this, until you change who you believe you are before trying to change what you do, you'll keep feeling behind. Because you're trying to grow using a mindset that was designed to keep you small. If this is making sense, like and follow the channel. This helps this content reach those who need to hear it. Let me ask you a direct question. Do you really believe you deserve more? Not that automatic answer you give when someone asks? Not that superficial yes that seems right to say, but deep down, in the place where you don't need to impress anyone, in the place where you're brutally honest with yourself. Do you believe it? Because if you don't believe it, nothing I say here will make a real difference. You can watch this entire video, you can watch the complete series, you can absorb every word, and still, nothing will truly change. Because change without internal conviction is just temporary theater. And I know this bothers you. I know you want a ready-made formula, 5 steps, 3 habits, the secret morning routine. But I'm not going to give you that. Because you don't need more information, you need transformation. And transformation begins when you stop running from this question. Do you deserve more? And if you hesitated, if you had to think about it, if you felt discomfort in your chest hearing this, then that's your real problem. It's not the market. It's not the economy. It's not the boss who doesn't value you. It's not the lack of opportunity. It's that you still don't see yourself as someone who can have more. And as long as you don't see yourself that way, you'll never act like someone who can have more. You'll never charge like someone who can have more. You'll never decide like someone who can have more. So stop waiting for someone to give you permission. Stop waiting for the world to validate your worth. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Because nobody's going to give you permission. The world doesn't validate, and the perfect moment doesn't exist. What exists is you deciding, now, today, at this exact moment, that you're no longer going to live according to the beliefs other people placed in you. That you're no longer going to accept the script they gave you. That you're no longer going to measure your worth by what others think you're worth. Now that you're truly with me, let's talk about something that changes everything. Financial direction. It's not about making more money doing the same thing. It's not about working more hours. It's not about cutting out coffee to save $3. It's about understanding where your effort is going and whether that place is truly worth your life. Most men don't have financial direction. They have financial survival. They wake up, they work, they pay bills, they repeat, and they call that responsibility. But having real financial direction is different. It's you looking at your daily effort and asking, where does this take me 5 years from now? It's you looking at your time and asking, is this bringing me closer to a high-value life or just keeping me alive? It's you looking at your decisions and asking, are these choices from someone who's building something bigger or from someone who's just surviving? And here's the brutal truth nobody tells you. Most of your daily decisions are survival decisions. You choose the safest, the most comfortable, what won't put you at risk. And each of these choices, in isolation, seems rational, seems smart, seems responsible. But when you put together 1,000 small survival decisions, you know what you build? A survival life. A life where you never risk, never truly grow, never leave the known zone, and then you look around and see people you think have less capacity than you living better. And you don't understand. But the difference isn't capacity. The difference is that they, at some point, made growth decisions. Decisions that scared them. Decisions that didn't make sense at the time. Decisions that everyone doubted, but they made them. Because they understood something fundamental. Security is an illusion, and the more you try to protect yourself, the more you limit yourself. You want to know why you feel behind? Because you're playing a different game. You play the game of security, of stability, of fixed salary, of traditional career path. While you're playing that game, there are people playing the game of growth, of calculated risk, of building something of their own, of betting on themselves. And I'm not saying you need to quit everything and become an entrepreneur. I'm saying that if you're in a job and you're not using it as a platform to build personal energy, to develop valuable skills, to create self-mastery, you're just trading time for money. And time for money is the worst trade possible, because time doesn't come back. Financial direction is about understanding that you're not paid for the effort you put in. You're paid for the value you deliver. And if you want to earn more, you don't need to work more. You need to deliver more value, or deliver the same value to someone who values it more. But most people never understand this. Most people think they deserve to earn more because they work hard, because they're dedicated, because they arrive early and leave late. And all of that is important. But it's not enough, because the market doesn't pay for effort. The market pays for results, impact, transformation. So if you want to get out of middle income, you need to stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like a value creator. You need to stop asking, how much will I earn doing this? And start asking, how much value does this generate for the world? Because when you generate real value, when you deliver genuine transformation, prosperity is a consequence. It's not the goal. It's the natural consequence of you being aligned with purpose, of you having clarity about what you're building, of you operating from an identity of abundance. And when you change this internally, when you embody this way of thinking, the external is just a reflection. Opportunities appear, money comes, recognition happens, not because you're chasing it, but because you became someone who naturally attracts these things. Comment what topic you want me to dive deeper into in the next video of this series. You made it this far, and that already says something about you. It says you don't want easy answers. It says you don't just want temporary emotional comfort. It says you want truth, even if it's uncomfortable. And I need to tell you something before I finish. You're not behind. You never were. You were just following the wrong map, measuring success by the wrong standards, comparing your journey with people who are playing a completely different game from yours. But now you know. Now you understand it was never about speed. It was about direction. It was about identity. It was about you stopping living on autopilot and starting to live with conscious intention. And from now on, everything changes. Not because the world changed, but because you changed. because you stopped seeing yourself as someone who needs to accept crumbs and started seeing yourself as someone who can build their own feast. This won't be easy. There will be days of doubt, moments when you'll want to give up, people who will question, who will doubt, who will try to pull you back to their comfort zone. But you won't go back, because now you've seen too much, you've understood too much, and when you truly understand, there's no going back. You can't live the old way anymore. You can't accept less anymore. You can't pretend everything's fine when it's not. So you keep going, you build, you grow. And one day, sometime from now, you'll look back and see how far you've come. You'll see the man you've become. And on that day, that feeling of being behind will seem ridiculous, because you'll realize it was never about arriving before others. It was about arriving where you need to arrive, in your time, your way, following your path. And that's the true meaning of living a high-value life. It's not about competing, it's about creating. It's not about proving anything to anyone. It's about honoring who you truly are and who you can become. So go build. And when you get there, remember this moment. Remember this day you decided you're no longer going to live small, because you're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be, and from here forward, you're in control.